The first days of marriage are meant to be filled with joy, laughter, and dreams of a future together. For me, our honeymoon was supposed to be the perfect beginning to the life my wife and I had promised each other. We had planned a trip that seemed like a dream, luxury hotels, scenic views, and all expenses magically covered. I felt proud that somehow, everything had fallen into place so perfectly. But little did I know that the foundation of this gift was built on betrayal. From the moment we arrived at the resort, everything seemed too good to be true. We were welcomed like royalty, upgraded to a suite overlooking the ocean, and pampered with services I couldn't have imagined affording on my own salary. I kept wondering how this was possible, but my wife kept telling me not to worry. She'd flash a smile and say, "You deserve this." I wanted to believe her because I trusted her more than anyone in the world. One evening, as we sat on the balcony sipping drinks, the uneasiness in my heart grew heavier. I finally asked her how we managed to get such an expensive honeymoon for free. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she gave me a strange look, almost as if she had been waiting for this question. Then she laughed softly and leaned closer, whispering words that would cut deeper than any knife. "Relax, your boss paid for this trip, and for what I do in his bed." At first, I thought she was joking. My heart refused to accept the cruelty of such words. I even smiled nervously and said, "That's not funny." But her expression didn't change. She looked straight at me, with no guilt, no shame, and repeated herself as if it were nothing. My chest tightened, and my world seemed to shatter around me. The woman I had just vowed to spend my life with had destroyed everything in one sentence. I sat there in silence, unable to process what I had heard. My mind raced back through the past months, the sudden closeness between her and my boss, the expensive gifts she brushed off as lucky finds, the way he had insisted on giving me time off for the honeymoon. Every puzzle piece suddenly fell into place, and the picture that formed was one of betrayal. The next morning, I woke up before her and stared at the ceiling, wondering what to do. Part of me wanted to confront her with anger, demand answers, and walk away. But another part of me felt paralyzed. How could I go back home to the same job, knowing that my boss had been with my wife? How could I face either of them again? The shame and humiliation crushed me more than the betrayal itself. When she finally woke up, she acted as though nothing had happened. She cheerfully talked about breakfast, sightseeing, and shopping. Her casual attitude stunned me. It was almost as if she had revealed the truth simply because she thought I was powerless to do anything about it. That realization burned inside me. During our outings, I watched her closely. Every smile she gave me now felt fake. Every touch reminded me of what she had admitted. I kept quiet, but inside, I was planning my next move. I realized that silence was my strength. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of seeing me broken. I decided that if she could betray me so effortlessly, then she didn't deserve to see my pain. As the days of the honeymoon passed, I grew colder. I stopped holding her hand, stopped laughing at her jokes, and stopped pretending that things were normal. She noticed the change but didn't say much. Perhaps she thought I would eventually accept the situation. She underestimated me. By the time we returned home, my decision was made. I went back to work with a heavy heart, forced to look into the eyes of the man who had not only betrayed me professionally but personally. I didn't confront him, not yet. Instead, I worked quietly, saved every piece of evidence I could gather, and started planning how to cut both of them out of my life. My wife tried to act like the perfect partner, but I no longer believed any of it. Every kind gesture felt like poison. I began distancing myself, moving my belongings slowly out of our shared apartment, and preparing the legal steps I would need. Divorce was not just a choice, it was survival. Weeks later, when I finally confronted her, she looked shocked. She probably believed I would stay trapped, too scared to lose my marriage or my job. But I told her calmly that our story was over before it had even begun. She tried to argue, to cry, to twist her words, but nothing she said mattered anymore. I had seen her true self, and there was no going back. The honeymoon that was supposed to be the happiest chapter of my life had instead become the darkest lesson I had ever learned. I lost a wife, I lost respect for a man I once looked up to, but I gained something far more valuable: clarity. Betrayal may have broken me for a moment, but it also set me free to rebuild my life on a foundation of truth. And as I signed the divorce papers, I realized that sometimes the most painful revelations come as a blessing in disguise. Her words on that balcony haunted me, but they also saved me from living a life built on lies. I walked away stronger, determined never to let anyone hold that kind of power over me again.